Testing. 1, 2.
Okay. I've never seen two Surface microphones before. This is a new experience.
I'm trying to get here early and get oriented, but I'll just do what I do until you call the next page.
Okay, we'll do Shabbat Shachar on
Yeah.
103.
Yeah.
Then we'll go right to Baruch Shamar on 120 something, 122.
Yeah.
And then we will go to Ashrei, I think. Or actually, we'll go to Hodel Adonai Ki Tov on 132.
32, yeah.
Then we'll do Ashrei, and we'll go straight from Ashrei through the next several Psalms.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And we skipped the Shirat Hayam section.
We have been.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, I'm not averse.
I'll just follow your directions.
Okay. How you doing, Nicole? Good. Yep. Okay. So, Shabbat Shalom and welcome to all of our participants in person and on Zoom. It is unusual today that we actually have the Zoom monitor on. It's because Nicole, our bat mitzvah's family in Russia and around the world will be joining us, and we really want to feel their presence. So we're going to begin with Birchot HaShachar on page 103, and we'll rise if you are comfortable.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sachivina l'havchin b'yom u'bein layla.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechasani b'tzalmo.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechasani ben chorin.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechasani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pakeach l'chrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish karumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rakach haaretz chal hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzchadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechasa li kol tzarki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam choter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten la yochef koach. Baruch ברוך אתה אדוני מלך העולם. ותננו היום ובכל יום לכנו לחסד ורחמים וחרינך ובחריני כל רואינו ותגמול אלינו חסדים טובים. ברוך אתה אדוני גומל חסדים טובים לעמו ישראל.
Amen. We turn ahead to page 122 and remain standing.
ברוך שאמר והיה העולם ברוך הוא, ברוך עושה וראשית, ברוך אומר ועושה, ברוך גוזר ומקיים, ברוך מרחם על הארץ, ברוך מרחם על הבריות, ברוך שמשלם שכר טוב לרעיו, ברוך חי לעד וקיים לנצח, ברוך פודה ומציל, ברוך וברוך שמו ידעי ידעי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם. יחיד חיים מהם מלך משבח ומפואר עד אחד שמו הגדול. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך מהולל בתשבחו.
Page 132. Hodul Adonai ki tov. Give thanks for God's goodness.
הודו לאדוני כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו, הודו לאלוהי האלוהים כי לעולם חסדו, הודו לאדוני האדונים כי לעולם חסדו, עושה נפלאות גדולות לבדו כי לעולם חסדו. שבשפלנו זכר לנו כי לעולם חסדו, ויפרקנו מצרינו כי לעולם חסדו, נותן לכם לכל בשר כי לעולם חסדו, הודו לאל השמיים כי לעולם חסדו.
We can be seated. Let's turn to page 134 for the Psalm for Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת. טוב להודות על אדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק כתמר יפרח כארז בלבנון, ישגה שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינובון בסבב, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי, ולא רב לטבו.
Page 136, Ashrei.
אשרי יושבי ביתך, הודי הללוהו חסלה, אשרי רם שככה לו, אשרי רם שאדוני אלוהיו, תהילה לדוד, ארמים כאלוהי המלך ורכש מכך המלך. תהילת אדוני ידבר, פיו יברך כל בשר, שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברך יד, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה. הללויה, הללויה נפשי. אדוני שומר את גרים, יתום ואלמנה יורדת, ודרך ירושלים יורדת, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה, הללויה, כי טוב זמר אלוהינו, כי נוראים נאווה תהילה. מגיד דבריו ליעקב חוקיו ומשפטיו לישראל, לא רצחם לכל גוי, משפטים בעל ידרום, הללויה. הללויה, הללויה את אדוני מן השמיים, הללויה במרומים, הללויה כל מלאכיו, הללויה כל צבאיו. וירם קרן רמות הילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל עם קרובו, הללויה, הללויה. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, תהילתו בקהל חסידים. לשר מלכיהם וזכים ונכבדיהם בחבלי ברזל, לעשות בהם משפט כתוב, הדרכו לכל חסידיו, הללויה.
Page 141.
הללויה, הללויה בקודשו, הללויה ברכיל עוזו, הללויה בגבורותיו, הללויה קרוב גודלו, כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה, כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה. הללויה בתקע שופר, הללויה בנבל וכינור, הללויה בתוף ומחול, הללויה במינים ועוגב, כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה. כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה. הללויה בצלצלי שמה, הללויה בצלצלי תרועה. כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה. כל הנשמה תהללויה, הללויה, הללויה.
We'll turn to page 145. Nishmat Kohai, the breath of all that lives, comes together in harmony and praise with Shabbat. And we can just maybe take the prompt to take a few breaths ourselves and let our breaths and our spirit join in song on Shabbat. Page 145.
נשמת כל החי, תברך את שמך אדוני אלוהינו, ברוח כל בשר תפארת ברוח כל בשר. אילו פינו מלא שירה, קיים ושירינה כהמון גליו. האל בתוך עצומות עוזך, הגדול בכבוד שמך, הגיבור לנצח והנורא בנוראותיך, המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא.
Esher Koach. Thank you, Ilya. So we begin the Shacharit service now on page 147, second paragraph on the page.
ישוכן עד מרום בקדוש שמו. וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נבע תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתברך. ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו אל מלכנו. ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול ותשבחות, אל ההודאות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך מלכי העולמים. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Be seated. We're on page 150. First blessing leading up to the Shema, appreciating light and darkness and the mysteries and beauty of creation.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם יוצר אור וחושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל, הכל יודוך הכל ישבחוך, הכל יאמרו אין קדוש כאדוני, הכל ירוממוך סלע יוצר הכל, האל פותח בכל יום דלתות שערי מזבח. אין כערכך אין זולתך, אפס בלתך ומדומה לך, אין כערכך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא, אפס בלתך גואלנו למות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים. אמביידי 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 די די איי נא מננאי מנננאי איי אמביידי אמביידי די אמביידי איי מנננאי מנננאי אמביידי אמביידי איי נא מננאי אמביידי nay 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 ימנה נה 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 אל אדון על כל המעשים ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה גודלו וטובו מלא עולם דעת ותבונה הסובבים אותו המתגאה על חיות הקודש ונהדר בכבוד על המרכבה זכות ומישור לפני חיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו הטובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובהשכל כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות מושלים בקרב תבל מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה נאה זיום בכל העולם שמחים בצאתם בששים בבואם עושים באימה רצון קונם פאר וכבוד נותנים לשמו סולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו קר על השמש ויזרחו ראה והתקין צורת הלבנה שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מרום תפארת וגדולה שרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש לאל אשר שבת מכל המעשים
Mama's swimming. Sorry.
תתברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארו חסלה תתברך צורנו מלכנו וגואלנו בורא קדושים
Page 153.
כולם אהובים, כולם ברורים, כולם גיבורים, כולם עושים בהמה ויראה רצון קונם וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה בשירה וזמרה ומברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומריצים ומקדישים את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא הקדוש הוא שפה ברורה ונעימה קדושה כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ כבודו והאופנים וחיות הקודש פרש גדול מנוסעים ומצרפים לעומתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו לאל ברוך נמות ייתנו המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית כאמור לעולם כי לעולם חסדו אור חדש על ציון תאיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות אהבה רבה אהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו חמלה גדולה והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ להודות לך ליחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ואהבת ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ויציב. לדור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים חיסון נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו. אמת שאתה הוא רשע, אתה הוא אחרון. ממצרים גלתנו.
We're on page 158. In a few moments, we'll rise and join together to begin the Amidah, standing prayer out loud together, 159 through 161. Then we'll continue and take time for our personal prayers of the Amidah.
תהילות ליל עליון ברוך הוא ומבורך משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות רוסף אלה שירה חדשה שבכל גולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם בארצו ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל עובדך נאמך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Face the ark and begin the Amidah, page 159.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומר חסדים טובים מקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים צומח נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול מתנסים לעומת שרפים לעומתם ברוך יאמרו ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון בקרוב בימינו לעולם תשכון תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים ועינינו תראנה מלכותך כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך על ידי דוד משיח צדקך ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו למושלם ועד כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Our personal Amidah can continue. The traditional words go through 166. We'll continue with Kaddish Shalem on page 167.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלות ההון ובעלת ההון לכל ישראל קודמה והוני ושמיה ואמרו אמן. ויהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
Yashar Koach.
Looking to you.
Thank you to Rick Dinnick for leading us in Shachrit, and again to Ilya Gorin for leading us in Psukei Zimra. It is now my great pleasure to call forward our bat mitzvah, Nicole Lewin, to lead us in the Torah service, page 168. Can be seated for the opening prayer, and then we'll rise when the ark is opened.
En k'macha Elohim Adonai, en k'maasecha, malchutecha, malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha, mekol dor vador. Adonai melech, Adonai melech, Adonai yimlok le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'mo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Ahad ha'amim, eitiv eretzoncha, eretz Zion. Tirei homot Yerushalayim, ki becha bebad batachnu, melech elam v'nisan nolamim.
We rise as the ark is open.
ויהי בנשוא אהרון, ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני, ויחוצו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה. Baruch שנתן תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. בריך שמי דמריאמה בבענרהץ, ולשמי קדישה יקירה, הנאמר תושבחה. בענרהץ, בענרהץ,
That's your special book.
This way.
Shabbat Shalom, you're welcome to be seated. So we are reading Parshat Lech Lecha, the, I don't know, is it right to call it iconic? I don't know, it is a famous, really foundational Torah portion where the story of Abraham and Sarah begins, the story really of the Jewish people begins. And it begins with these famous words of God calling to Abraham, or Avram, as his name hasn't been changed yet, and asking him to go, Lech Lecha, to leave everything that's familiar, to go to a new place. And I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and curse him that curses you, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. And Avram goes. There's not a lot of explanation of how this came about. Like, did Avram know God? Did they have a relationship? Why Avram? Why was he chosen? And then we quickly get into all these different stories of Avram and Sarai and their journeys. And to be honest, I've always found this parsha a little hard to focus. I've found it, for me, hard to focus because it seems like there are all these different adventures, and I wonder what they have to do with one another, how it all fits together. So I kind of want to offer that as a challenge to all of us today, of a puzzle. How do these stories fit together? And I'll just share that one insight that I gained this week, actually from listening to a lecture from Rabbi David Foreman, was to pay attention to Lot, or Lot, who to me has always been a character like, I could forget him. Like, why is he so important? Why does he keep showing up in these stories? Lot is, who is Lot? His nephew, right? Avram's nephew, okay? And I found it really useful to go back to last week's Torah portion, the end of Noach, on page 62. We're in the larger red books now, the Chumash with the Torah text in it. On page 62 is actually where we meet Avram and Lot. And the context, or what we learn about their relationship, is that their father Terach had 3 sons, Avram, Nahor, and Haran, at the top of page 62. And Haran begot Lot. So we know, so one brother has this son, Lot. And that brother, Haran, died in the lifetime of his father, Terach. So it seems like Avram's brother, Haran, died young while their father was still living and and the father's about to go on a long journey with them. So it seems that he died young, leaving this son, Lot. And we learn that Avram and Nahor, the other 2 brothers, took to themselves wives, the name of Avram's wife being Sarai, and that of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran. So it seems that Nahor marries Lot's daughter, okay? That's seen as a very admirable, what? Sorry. Haran's daughter, Lot's sister, presumably, right? That is seen as a very virtuous act in the biblical mindset. Like if you think about the story of Ruth and other parts in the Torah where if your brother dies childless, it is considered a major mitzvah to perpetuate his lineage and his name by actually marrying his wife and having a child to perpetuate your brother's name. It seems crazy, I think, in our modern mindset, but this is considered an incredibly virtuous act in the biblical mindset. And it seems that Avram's brother marries one of his dead brother's daughter, and the midrash actually is that so did Avram.
It's not on the thing.
Excuse me? Okay. So furthermore, just if you, this passage that's often neglected on page 62, I think really can uncover quite a bit of this story in that, so Avram and Nahor took to themselves wives, the name of Avram's wife being Sarai, and that of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Yiscah. Now Sarai was barren, she had no child. The Midrash actually wants us to think that Sarai is Yiscah. Like it or not, I mean, you don't have to like that idea. I never like it when the rabbis collapse multiple women into one person. When like 2 women are named, oh, they're really one person. But the interesting thing you could get from that Midrash is that Avram also, in marrying Sarai, if she's also Yiscah, is also a son of his dead brother, a daughter of his dead brother, so that he too is invested in perpetuating the name of his brother. And it seems like he is adopting Lot, the son of his brother Haran. So as we read now about Avram and Sarai and their journey and this continual blessing that God gives them of you're going to be the father, the patriarch and matriarch, I would say, of many nations, and you're going to have all these offspring. And there's a huge question there of like, well, where are the offspring? Sarai is barren. Well, is the offspring actually, is he willing to sort of adopt Lot as his offspring? Are there other options for him sort of to adopt somebody to play this role? Ultimately, who is going to be the offspring? So I think that's kind of the backdrop question of this whole parsha. And Rabbi Foreman argues that really part of what Avram does to distinguish himself and to merit these blessings from God is by being willing to be so sort of selfless as to adopt his nephew and to let his brother's name be carried on and not worry about his own legacy. That it's really an act of generosity and kindness. And he and Lot have a lot of adventures in this parsha. So let's begin. Page 69, Parshat Lech Lecha.
ויעזור והגן ויושיע לכל החוסים בו ונאמר אמן. הכל אבו גדול עלינו כבוד לתורה. כהן קרב, אליאנה פנינה בת משה הכהן ואריקה. ברוך שנתן תורה למה לישראל בקדושתו. ואתם מביאים אדוני אלוהיכם כן כולכם היום.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Avram lech lecha me'artzecha mimolodtecha mibeit avicha el haaretz asher arecha ve'escha legoy gadol v'avarechecha v'hagadla shemecha ve'yeh bracha v'avarecha mevarechecha u'mechalelcha or v'nidruku v'cha kol mishpekot ha'ama vayelech Avram asher diber le'elav Adonai vayelech ito et Lot Avram ben chamesh shanim v'shivim shana b'tzeito me'charan v'yikach Avraham et Sarai ishto ve'et Lot ben achiv ve'kol rechisham asher rachashu et hanefesh asher asu v'charan v'yetzu ladechet arza Canaan v'yavo arza Canaan v'yavor Avram ba'aretz ad mekom Shechem ad Elon Moreh v'Kanani az ba'aretz v'yirah Adonai Avram Vayomer Zarchai Tenat Aretz Hazot Vayiven Sham Yizbeach Adonai Hanireh La Vayatek Misham Hara Mikedem Levetel Vayedo Lo Vetel Miyam Va'ai Mikedem Vayiven Sham Yizbeach Adonai Vayikra V'Shem Adonai Vayisa Avram Halok Naso Hanegba Vayira Ba'aretz Vayeret Avram Mitzrayim Lagor Sham ki kaved hara ba'aretz vayhi kasher hikriv lavo mitzrayim vayomer el Sarai ishto hinena yadati isha yifat marei ad vaya kiru ota kamitzrayim v'amru ishto zot v'hargu tivo tach yachayu nimina achoti ad lemani tavli favorech v'chayta nafshi b'galeh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yamod Levi. Tamod. Tamod.
Oh, you're the reader. Here you are.
Miriam. Bat. Zelda Velazer Levi.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborah. Baruch Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech olam. Asher natan lanu Torah. Asher natan mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi kavo Avraham Mitzrayma Biru Hamitrim et Haisha Ki yafahi me'od Biru ota sarei Faro V'yahalilu ota el Faro V'tukach Haisha be'Faro L'Avram hetiv davura V'hilo tzon uvakar v'chamorim V'avadim u'shvachot v'atonot u'gmalim וינגע אדוני את פרעה נגעים גדולים ואת ביתו על דבר שרי אשת אברהם ויקרא פרעה לאברהם ויאמר מה זאת עשית לי למה לא הגדת לי כאשתך היא למה אמרת אחותי וקח אותה לי לאישה ואתה הנה אשתך קח ולך ויצב עליו פרעה אנשים וישלחו אותו ואת אשתו ואת כל אשר לו ויעל אברהם ממצרים ואשתו וכל אשר לו ולא תימו הנקבה ואברהם כבד מאוד במקנה בכסף ובזהב וילך למסעיו מנגב ועד בית אל עד המקום אשר היה שם אוהלו בתחילה בין בית אל ובין העי אל מקום המזבח אשר עשה שם בראשונה ויקרא שם אברהם בשם אדוני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temek v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Ya'amod Tamod Dasha Bumnan Shlishi. Davida Bakila Shlishi.
Do you have a tali?
Baruch Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barhabanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
וגם לילות ההולך את אברהם היה צאן ובקר אוהלים ולא נשא אותם הארץ לשבת יחדיו כי היה רכושם רב ולא יכלו לשבת יחדיו ויריב בין רועה מקנה אברהם ובין רועה מקנה לוט, והכנעני והפריזי אז יושב בארץ. ויאמר אברהם אל לוט, אל נא תהי מריבה ביני וביניך ובין רעי ובין רעיך, כי אנשים אחים אנחנו. הלא כל הארץ לפניך יפרדנה מעלי, עם השמאל וימינה ועם ימין ושמאלה. וישא לוט את עיניו וירא את כל כיכר הירדן, כי כולה משקה, לפני שחט אדוני את סדום ואת עמורה, כי גן אדוני כארץ מצרים בואכה צוהר. ויבחר לו לוט את כל כיכר הירדן, וייסע לוט מקדם, ויפרדו איש בעל אחיו. אברהם ישב בארץ כנען, ולוט ישב בערי הכיכר, ויעל עד סדום. ואנשי סדום רעים וחטאים לאדוני מאוד. ואדוני אמר אל אברהם, חרי יפרד לוט מאמו, שנא עינך וראה מן המקום אשר אתה שם, צפונה ונגבה וקדמה וימה. כי את כל הארץ אשר אתה רואה לך אתננה לזרעך עד עולם. ושמתי את זרעך כעפר הארץ, אשר אם יוכל איש למנות את עפר הארץ, גם זרעך ימנה. קום התהלך בארץ לאורכה ולרוחבה, כי לך אתננה. ויעל אברהם ויבוא וישב באלוני ממרא אשר בחברון, ויבן שם מזבח לאדוני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So Dasha is saying Birkat HaGomel today, a blessing of gratitude for having come through a serious illness or life-threatening situation. And do you want to say a few words before you say the blessing?
Sure, thanks. I don't really have anything prepared, but I just wanted to say that I have been going through a tough time lately, and it's been amazing the kind of support I've gotten from the Kolomet community. And I just wanted to say thank you. My family and I, we appreciate it tremendously, and that's why we're part of this community, because it gives so much. And as I found out, especially during tough times, and just wanted to say thank you. That's all. Should I say the blessing? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel lechayavim tovot shegmalani kol tov.
Amen. Mi shigmalech kol tov, hu yigmalech kol tov, Selah. May you be blessed with continued healing and feelings of wholeness and gratitude. And I know that you're really moved to share it and to give back. And we're so grateful for you in this community. Wishing you strength and blessing.
Yamod Chaim Ben Solomon Valea Revi
Our fourth aliyah is found on page 77, the beginning of chapter 14. And I'm just curious, maybe after this aliyah, for any comment, any thoughts you have just on this relationship between Avram and Lot. You know, maybe what you imagine to be kind of the nature of their relationship.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayehi Dime Amrafel Melech Shinar Aryoch Melech Elasar Kedela Omer Melech Elam V'tidal Melech Goyim Hatsu Milchama Ekbera Melech Sodom V'et Bisa Melech Amorah Shinav Melech Adma B'Shem Ever Melech Tzvoim U'Melech Bela Hitzar Kol Ele Chavru Ele Hasidim Huyam HaMelech 12 Shana Avdu Et Kedela Omer ו13 Shana Maradu וב14 Shana Ba Kedela Omer והמלאכים אשר איתו ויקחו את רפאים באשתרות קרניים ואת הזוזים בהם ואת האמים בשבי קרייתיים ואת החורי והרם שעיר עד אל פרן אשר על המדבר וישובו ויבואו אליהן משפט יקדש ויכו את כל שדה העמלקי וגם את האמורי היושב בחצצון תמר. ויצא מלך סדום ומלך עמורה ומלך אדמה ומלך צבעים ומלך בלה יצוער ויערכו איתם מלחמה בעמק הסידים את כדלה עומר מלך אlam ותידל מלך גויים וימרפל מלך שינר ויריוך מלך אלעשר 4 מלכים את 5 בעמק הסידים בארות חמור וינוסו מלך סדום ועמורה ויפלו שמה והנשרים הרון עשו ויקחו את כל רכוש סדום ועמורה ואת כל אוכלם וילכו ויקחו את לוט ואת רכושו בן אחי אברהם וילכו והוא יושב בסדום ויבוא הפליט ויגד לאברהם העברי והוא שוכן באלוני ממרא האמורי אחי אשכול ואחי הנר והם בעלי ברית אברהם וישמע אברהם כי נשבע אחיו ויורך את חניכו ילידי ביתו 18 מאות וירדוף הדן ויחלק עליהם לילה וביעבדיו וירדוף. Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have fallen off the line. וביעבדיו ויקם וירדפם עד חובה אשר משמאל לדמשק. וישב את כל הרכוש וגם את לוט אחיו ורכושו השיב וגם את הנשים ואת העם. ויצא מלך סדום יום לקראתו, אחרי שובו מהכות, יפקד על העומר ואת המלאכים אשר איתו, אל עמק שווה הוא עמק המלך. ומלכי צדק מהלך שלם הוציא, לחם ויין, והוא כהן אל עליון. ויברכהו ויאמר ברוך אברהם לאל עליון, בונה שמיים וארץ, וברוך אל עליון אשר מגן צריך בידיך, וייתן לו מעשר מכל. ברכתי.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ya'amod Meir ben Moshe Chaim Kasinya Hamishi.
You should get the right spot here.
We'll wait for conversation after the fifth aliyah. We're
Right
on,
over, right over here.
we're on page 81, verse 21 for the fifth aliyah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Melech Sodom el Avram ten li anefesh v'achush kachlach. Vayomer Avram el Melech Sodom harimoti yadi el Adonai el Elyon koneh shamayim v'aretz imichud v'atzrochna al v'imekach mikol asher lach v'lo tomar ani hesharti et Avram biladai rak asher achlu anerim v'chelek anashim asher alchu iti Aner eshkol mamrehem yikachu chalkam achar advarim ha'ele hayad v'Adonai el Avram machazel lemor al tira Avram anochi magen lach sorcha harbe meod vayomer Avram Adonai Adonai matiten li Elohim Adonai Elohim matiten li v'anochi holachiri uven me'eshek beiti hu damashek Eliezer vayomer Avram hen li lo natata zara v'hina ben beiti yorash oti v'hina dvar Adonai elav lemor lo yershecha zeh ki im asher yetzeh mimecha hu yershecha vayotze oto hachutza vayomer abetna shemaima usfor kochavim im tuchal lispor otam vayomer lo ko Adonai zarecha ko yihye zarecha v'hemin b'Adonai v'yachshaveh lo tzedakah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
So Nick, Yashar Koach, I think this is probably the first aliyah since your bar mitzvah. And Eitan, Yashar Koach to you. Eitan Goldhaber Fiebert is a madrich in our youth program that's just starting up today. But he also wanted to read Torah, and so he's doing both and probably making a quick getaway. But I do want to just say that it's been a long time since we had kids programming. I mean, I guess we had it on the high holidays, but our Kol Shabbat, regular Shabbat youth program, was online for all of COVID until now. And before that, we were at the JCC for most of 2 years. And it just feels really momentous to me today to have, kids who grew up here and kids who are choosing to associate with Kolamet, to be madrichim, to be our teachers and role models. And so many kids, new families, young families wanting to be a part of our program. It's really exciting and worthy of gratitude and just a shehechiyanu for us in this new space and this kind of, God willing, recovery from where we've been in the pandemic. So I'm just curious for any reflections anyone wants to share on what you think of Lot and what you think of the relationship between Avram and Lot. Is there something that we, can learn from it or struggle from? Yes, Don.
He's almost like a son.
Okay.
Peter like a son. And after Isaac comes along, we don't hear about it.
So Lot is like a son until Isaac comes along. Nina, can you speak loudly? Because I don't know if I can repeat.
If Lot was really like the son, Lot would inherit Avram. And at some point, Avram decided that was not going to happen. I wonder if they thought about that, but that goes background.
So you think Avram decided Lot was not going to inherit?
Well, I'm saying Eliezer was not going to inherit.
Okay, right. He's sort of going to his backup plan that his servant, Dara.
Well, I noticed that Lot seems to be real quick to the doctor from here. And doesn't kind of pose any sort of sharing of the fertile land. And Avram goes out to raise baby Lot, and doesn't look like choice.
So Lot seems driven sometimes by self-interest. He's given the choice. He chooses the land that looks good, even though the Torah is telling us, guess what? There are bad people there. Not clear whether he knows that or not, but he's not necessarily the best judgment. And Avram keeps taking care of him, rescuing him. Right. I saw Rena and then Russ.
Even with the story of Pablo and Abraham, how Abraham made a mistake and Pablo had to pay the price because they are so connected. And the same with Abraham and Lot. There's so much love and respect in their relationship. And with that, there is detachment. When the land cannot hold both of them, Abraham with lots of love, and he first choose and go, and we stay together, connected, and whenever you need my help, I'm coming. And that I see, Lot, he's been given the choice to choose first, and that's what he needs, but that doesn't mean that they are less connected.
Okay, I appreciate that perspective, that that's not my first reading of it, that it's all about love and connection, but it's beautiful. Thank you. Russ.
Yeah, it's always hard to follow because she has such a wonderful interpretation of the world. I don't always share. Like, there's a saying that more money, more problem. And I think there are people who just get really distracted by wealth and affluence. And wealth is acceptable, right? And around has different kind of ideals and very
Interesting. Yeah. So in some ways, this could be a commentary on wealth and the toll that it takes. And Avram's general feeling, he says a couple times in here, like, I don't need the stuff. I'm not taking anything from you. And Lot seems to be motivated by what's going to be better for his, entourage and better land, etc. Yeah.
So I think Lot had some, we don't know, ages mean nothing in this, but had some teenage rebellion and went to live on his own.
Lot had teenage rebellion and went to live on his own, and when they part ways, you're seeing that as him living on his own.
The nature of families in this age, and still in the Middle East, are multi-generational. And the fact that he's not living with Abraham is very important. So I think he says, I've had enough of this, I'm gonna live on my own. We don't know teenagers who said that in our lives. And
So Alan is seeing Lot as a teenager or representing teens and
leaving,
okay.
but still there's a connection, obviously.
But still there's connection. Elliot.
So Avram got rich because of Sarah's relationship with Pharaoh, but it says also Lot got rich, and it's not said how he also gained all this tremendous wealth.
So we don't know how Lot got his wealth. They even just when they leave Ur or Haran or wherever they leave from, they seem to have a lot of possessions somehow, but they seem to keep increasing. Jacob?
No, we have only bad thing about Lot. The next parasha, Lot is a very good person when he welcomes the angel, and he is willing to give everything in order to save them.
So Lot is willing.
That's a very good character of a person.
Okay, so Jacob is defending Lot's hospitality and character in welcoming the angels and being willing to give them almost anything, including his daughters, to the mob.
Yeah, and he actually.
But you're seeing that as having that maybe that family trait of hospitality and goodness. Okay, Michelle.
So I understand that we're instructed to see Avram as the good guy and Lot as somehow deficient, but I don't see a whole lot of daylight between you two. I feel like Avram is very instrumental with everybody in his life, even in the good deed of not taking a portion when he's the spoils of war. It's like, I'm not doing this because I don't want my reputation to be sullied. I think he taught Lot how to behave, and so when Lot was his daughters, it's no coincidence. He saw Avram give his wife.
Okay, so Michelle is saying Lot has learned a lot from Avram, both good and bad, or just
they
his
treat people instrumentally.
his way of treating people instrumentally. You're saying that's a lot to think about. I appreciate it, Rick.
Also, along with what Runa and Jacob and Michelle said, I wonder if it's possible that Lot has learned from Abraham, from living with Abraham for so long, to be a master of chesed, a master of kindness, in the same way that Abraham has built a reputation. And he's going away to test himself, to see whether he can be a master of kindness in the worst possible ways.
So Rick, I don't know if you can hear Rick out there. So he's saying Lot has learned a lot from Avram, and he's now kind of going off on his own to test himself in the virtue of kindness and whether he can still be a kind, generous person, even living among the people of Sodom. That's interesting. Okay, Cliff.
Where, Abraham isn't trying to be the perfect person, but he's kind of favored by the law. Whereas, which is the thing God, whereas Lot keeps making these sort of bad decisions and wondering why bad stuff happens to him, because decision he made in an earlier verse. So, but there's some effect there, right? There's easy questions down, but there's also a bit of a rival.
Right.
And, certainly Abraham makes better decisions than those, but he's also helped along by the law.
Thank you. So I just, in looking at it this year, I also was thinking about if Lot is like a son to Avram, the fact that he's faced with letting go of this son figure, it's almost kind of a prelude to the Akedah and this child that he's waited for, being willing to sacrifice that child. I mean, there's other sacrifices between them, right? He's continually being sort of tested. Will he let go of Sarai? Will he let go of Ishmael and Hagar? And it's like Lot is another figure in that kind of testing both the affection and the willingness to trust God and to let go and to see where life takes him. There's a lot there. So thank you for so many interesting comments. We're going to continue now with the 6th Aliyah on page 83. And shortly, we're going to meet Hagar and Ishmael. So let us continue our reading.
Talmud Chaya Bat Yitzchak Betova Shishi.
Take this. And here, no, here. No, okay.
Take this,
Take this.
touch this.
Touch the word here.
No, with that.
Vayomer Elav here. That's okay. Here, this
Right there,
word.
touch there, and then kiss that.
Give it a kiss. And now you can read. Here. Baruch Hu. No, Baruch Hu et Adonai Borach. It's Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu atah Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Yeah, now this.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher ohar banu b'kol haloi.
Amen.
Amen. V'noten lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Elav, Ani Adonai, אשר הוצאתיך מאור-כשדים לתת לך את הארץ הזאת לרשתה, ויאמר אדוני אלוהים במעדה כי ירשנה, ויאמר אליו קלי עגלה משולשת ועז משולשת ועין משולש בתור וגוזל, ויקח לו את כל אלה ויבטר אותם בתווך, ויתן איש ביתרו לקראת רעהו ואת הציפור לא בתר. וירד העיד על הפגרים וישב אותם אברהם, ויהי השמש לבוא ותרדמה נפלה על אברהם, והנה אימה חשיכה גדולה נופלת עליו. ויאמר לאברהם ידוע תדע כי גר יהיה זרעך בארץ לא להם, ועבדו ועינו אותם 400 שנה, וגם את הגוי אשר יעבודו דן אנוכי, ואחרי כן יצאו ברכוש גדול. ואתה תבוא אל אבותיך בשלום, תיקבר בשיבה טובה. בדור רביעי ישובו הנה, כי לא שלם עוון האמורי עד הנה. ויהי השמש באה ועלתה היה, והנה תנור עשן ולפיד אש, אשר עבר בין הגזרים האלה ויאמרו כרת אדוני את אברהם ברית לאמור, לזרעך נתתי את הארץ הזאת מנהר מצרים עד הנהר גדול, נהר פרת. את הקיני ואת הכנזי ואת הקדמוני ואת החיטי ואת הפריזי ואת הרפאים ואת האמורי ואת הכנעני ואת הגרשי ואת היבוסי. ושרי אשת אברהם לא ילדה לו ולה, שפחה מצרית ושמה הגר. ותאמר שרי אל אברהם הננה עצרני אדוני מלדת, פונה אל שפחתי, אולי ייבנה ממנה, וישמע אברהם לכל שרי. ותיקח שרי אשת אברהם את אגר המצחית, שפחתה מקץ 10 שנים לשבט אברהם בארץ כנען, ותיתן אותה לאברהם אישה, לא לאישה, לאישה, ויבוא אל אגר ותר, ותרא כי ארתה, ותקל גבירתה בעיניה. ותאמר שרי אל אברהם, חמסי עליך, אנוכי נתתי שפחתי בחיקך, ותראה כי יראת, ויקהל בעיניה, ישפוט אדוני ביני וביניך. ויאמר אברהם אל שרי, הנה שפחתך בידך, עשי לה טוב בעינייך. ותעניה שרי ותברח מפניה, וימצאה מלאך אדוני על עין המים במדבר, על העין בדרך שור. ויאמר הגר שפחת שרי, מאיזה בת ואנה תלכי, ותאמר מפני שרי גבירתי אני בורח, אנוכי בורחת. ויאמר לה המלאך אדוני, שובי אל גבירתך והטעניי תחת ידיה. ויאמר לה מלאך אדוני, הרבה את זרעך, ולא יספר מרוב. ויאמר לה מלאך אדוני, הנך ערה ויולדת בן, וקראת שמו ישמעאל, כי שמע אדוני אל עונך, והוא יהיה פרא אדם, ידו בחול ויד כלבו, ועל פני כל אחיו ישכון. ותקרא שם אדוני הדובר אליה, אתה אלוהי, כי אמרה גם אלום ראיתי אחרי רואי. על כן קרא לה באר, באר לך אלוהי. והנה בן קדש ובן ברד, ותלד אגר לאברהם בן, ויקרא אברהם שם בנו, אשר ילדה אגר ישמעאל. ואברהם בן 80 שנה ו6 שנים, ולדת אגר את ישמעאל לאברהם. ויהי אברהם בן 90 שנה ו9 שנים, וירא אדוני אל אברהם, ויאמר אליו, אני אל שדי, יתהלך לפניי ואהיה תמים. ואתנה בריתי ביני וביניך, וארבה אותך במאוד מאוד. ויפול אברהם על פניו, וידבר איתו אלוהים לאמור, אני את בריתי איתה, והיית לאב המון גויים, ולא יקרא עוד שמך אברהם, את שמך אברהם, והיה שמך אברהם, כי אב המון גויים נתתיך, והפרתי אותך במאוד מאוד, ונתתיך לגויים, ומלכים ממך יצא.
Take this and touch that. Touch right there. Just that.
Now say the last part. Yes, this one.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher noten lanu Torato emet v'hahayim Rahayim Olam Notain B'Tohenu Baruch Atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Amen. Yamod Moshe Chaim ben Zvi v'Chaya Shvi'i.
Ron.
Huh?
Ron.
Towards the top here.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher barcha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Hakimoti et briti beni uvenecha uven zarcha charecha ledorotam levitolam liahot lecha lelohim ulzarcha charecha venatati lecha ulzarcha charecha et eretz megurecha Kol eretz Canaan le'achuzat olam vayiti lachem le'Elohim. Vayomer Elohim el Avraham ve'ata et briti tishmor ata v'zarcha acharecha l'dorotam. Zot briti asher tishmeru beini uve'enechem uvein zarcha acharecha imo lachem kol zachar unamaltem et basar latachem v'haya leot berit beini uvenechem uven shmonat yamim imo lachem kol zachar l'dortechem Yelid bayit umiknat kasef mikol ben nechar asher lo mizachafu imo yelid beitcha umiknat kaspecha vayta briti b'sarachem livrit olam Ve'arel zachar asher lo yimol et basar lato v'nichreta hanefesh ha'hi miyameha et briti hefar. Vayomer Elohim el Avraham Sarai ishtacha lo tikra et shema Sarai ki Sarah shema Uverachti אותה וגם נתתי ממנה לך בן. וברכתי הביתה לגויים מלכי עמים ממנה יהיו. ויפול אברהם על פניו ויצחק, ויאמר בליבו הלבן 100 שנה ייוולד. והיא שרה בת 90 שנה תלד. ויאמר אברהם לו ישמעאל יחיה לפניך. ויאמר אלוהים אבל שרה אשתך
יולדת לך בן, יולדת לך בן, וקראת שמו יצחק, וקימותי את בריתי איתו, לברית עולם לזרעו אחריו. ולישמעאל שמעתיך הנה ברכתי אותו, והפריתי אותו, והרביתי אותו במאוד מאוד. 12 נשיאים יליד, ונתתי לגוי גדול, ואת בריתי אקים את יצחק, אשר תלד לך שרה למועד הזה בשנה האחרת. ויכל לדבר איתו ויעל אלוהים מעל אברהם. ויקח אברהם את ישמעאל בנו ואת כל ילידי ביתו ואת כל מקנז כספו באנשי בית אברהם. ואברהם בימיו את בשר לטעם בעצם היום הזה כאשר דיבר איתו אלוהים. ואברהם בן 99 שנה והימלאו לו בשר עורלתו. וישמעאל בנו בן 13 שנה והימלאו את בשר עורלתו. בעצם היום הזה נימול אברהם וישמעאל בנו וכל אנשי ביתו יליד בית ומקנת כסף מאת נכר נימולו איתו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת בחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
We'll rise for Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכון אביום איכון וחייך כל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. ישמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ויאמרה ויאמרו amen.
We'll offer a prayer now for healing. If you have someone whose healing you are praying for, you're invited to say their name out loud or just hold it in your heart. And Bill Benkowski, we're holding you in our prayers as you have a procedure coming, and just invite anyone to offer a name out loud if you'd like when I pause. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Imotenu Sarif Karachel v'Leah v'Yivarech v'Yirapeh et hacholim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimele Rachamim Alehem Lachzikam Lerabotam Bishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shlema Min Hashamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Shar HaCholim V'chazek et Yudei Hoskim B'tzorcheihem Shabbati Milizok Refuah Krova Hashtah Bagalav Yizman Kariv and Omar Amen. May the Holy One of blessing bring healing and strength to all those who are in need of healing, and give strength to all of the family members and caregivers to be able to extend hands when needed, and let all of us be able to just bring more healing in our world that needs it so badly. Amen.
Amen.
You can be seated. We're going to call up our bat mitzvah to read from the Torah. Tamod, 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 Bachura bat mitzvah, Kela bat Mashachayim, Ksenia, Maftir Chizki. Nicole will be reading the Maftir portion, which is found in the larger Chumash, on page 93, verse 24.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
ואברהם בן 99 שנה, והימולו בשר עולתו, וישמעאל בנו בן 13 שנה, והימולו את בשר עולתו. בעצם היום הזה עמו אברהם וישמעאל בנו, וכל אנשי ביתו יליד בית ומקנת כסף מפני הר, ימהלו איתו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yashar Koach. We're going to take this moment, Nicole, for your parents to give you a blessing of their own.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dear Nicole, I remember the time when I had to choose a dress for you, or your hairstyle, or I could decide where you go and what you do. And it felt really good and safe, and I missed it sometimes. Now you've grown and changed so much, and you don't need my help to choose what to wear. And you even can help me sometimes with that. And it feels really good too. Looking at you today, I see a beautiful, bright, smart, kind, very responsible, hardworking, amazing person. Most of the choices you make are the good ones, and it makes me proud every day. And even if you do take the wrong one, it's okay too. It's okay to make mistakes, because you learn from them and you can always do better next time. And I want you to remember that I'm always here for you. If you're happy and want to share and celebrate your achievement, or if you're stuck and need some help, or if you're sad that something didn't work out this time. You had a big journey ahead of you, and I want it to be interesting and challenging and happy for you. Keep working hard and dreaming big throughout your life, and I know you'll achieve amazing things. Believe in yourself like I believe in you. Try to be with people who love you and who you love. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited to see you on this journey and to be part of it. Я люблю тебя.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to thank everybody for joining us in person, in Zoom, or in spirit for this special occasion. Nicole, I am so proud of the person you have become: intelligent, responsible, caring, resourceful. And your bat mitzvah is an important and joyous occasion, but it is more than that. It is an experience that symbolizes your ability to achieve whatever you set out to achieve in life, and to see the goals that you or others have set before you and know you have the ability to reach those goals. When I was younger, I thought the B'nai Mitzvah was about that, a ceremony that you've reached a milestone in your life and you can do whatever you need. But now I understand that it's more than that. It's also about strengthening the foundation of another part of yourself.
She said she was gonna cry. And I said, no.
Another part of yourself that is not taught at school. The sense of understanding of yourself, your heritage, and your place in the world. You've reached a milestone, but you are still growing and understanding yourself. And these things are important to give you a foundation in life. So my wish is that you build on your experience here and develop this foundation. May you always find the strength to stand up for your beliefs and interests and fight for what you want. May you always be able to see through the distractions and focus on what really matters to you. May you always be able to find the path through chaos and lead yourself to the better place. May you always find the strength and courage to give your thoughts and ideas the life and support they need to thrive and have a positive impact on the world. May you always understand that humanity is the central tie that binds us all. And above all, may God bless you and guide you into a healthy and happy and thoughtful life. We are proud of you and love you more than any words can express. Mazel tov.
Я, пользуясь случаем, хотела передать привет моей семье на Зуме, не знаю, куда смотреть. Мама, бабушка, Филипп, спасибо, что вы смотрите нас, и мне очень не хватает вас и папы сегодня.
So Ksenia really wanted to make sure that her mother and family who are joining us from Russia via Zoom would feel a part of things today. So that was done with full permission. So let's rise as we lift the Torah.
Down over here and get some leverage here.
You can be seated. Our Haftarah So taken from a much later context when the Jews are in exile, has many of the same sentiments of Avram's blessing, or rather God's blessing to Avram. You shall not fear. You'll see those words echoed throughout. Page 95 in the Chumash after Nicole recites the opening blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar bimim tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem anemarim be'emet Baruch atah Adonai Aboher b'Torah u'Moshe abdo u'B'Yisrael amo u'b'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek. Lama toma Yaakov u'tdaber Yisrael Nistera darki me'Adonai u'melachai mishpati yavor Alo yadata im lo shamata Elohei olam Adonai Borei ketzot haaretz lo yaf v'lo yigah ein hakel litvunato noten lo yaef choach u'ein onim otzma yarbeh vayafu narim v'yigau u'bachurim kasho yikashelu v'kavei Adonai yachalifu choach Yalu eved kancharim yarutzu v'lo yigau yalchu v'lo yafu Aharishu elaim u'umim yachalifu choach yikshu az yedaberu yachtav lamishpat nikrava Miheir mimizrach tzedek yichrehu leraglo yitein lefanav goyim umlachim yam yitein kefar arbo kekach nidav kashto yerdefei yavor shalom ora beraglav lo yavor mifal v'yasam korei hadorot merosh ani Adonai rishon v'taharanim ani hu ra'uim v'ra'u katzot haaretz yeheradu karbu v'yetayun Ish etregu yazoru ulachiv yomar hazak Vayhazek harash etzoreh Machelik patish et holem fam Omar ladevek tohu Vayhaskechu b'mazmirim lo yimot Ve'ata Yisrael abdi Yaakov asher baharticha Zera Abraham ohavi Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tzur kol haolamim Tzadik bechol hadorot האל הנאמן, האומר ועושה, המדבר ומקיים, שכל דבריו אמת בצדק. נאמן אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ונאמנים דבריך, ודבר אחד מדבריך, אחור לא ישוב ריקם. כי אל מלך נאמן, ורחמן אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני. האל הנאמן, בכל דבריו. רחם על ציון, כי בית חיינו, ולעלובת נפש תושיע, במהרה בימינו, ברוך אתה אדוני. משמח ציון בניך. שמחנו אדוני אלוהינו, הנביא עבדך, ובמלכות בית דוד משיחך. במהרה יבוא ויגל ליבנו, על כיסאו לא ישב זר, ולא ינהלו עוד אחים את כבודו. כי בשם קודשך נשבעת לו, שלא יכבה נרו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן דוד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לה ומברכים אותה. יתברך שמך בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני. מקדש השבת.
Mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yeah. Friends are welcome to come pick up candy. Mazel tov. So we turn back to our prayer book now, the smaller red book. And we turn our focus to prayer for the state of Israel and a prayer for this country and for peace in our world. Please join me on page 178 in the Hebrew for a prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu shebashamayim, tzur Yisrael v'goalo, barech et medinat Yisrael, reshit smichat gulatenu. Hagen aleha be'evrat chastecha, ufros aleha sukat shlomecha, ushlach orcha v'amitcha l'rasheha sarah v'yoatzeh. V'taknem be'etzah tova milfanecha. Chazek et yedei midinei eretz kodshenu, v'anchilem Eloheinu Yeshua, v'ateret nitzachon ta'atrem, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam liyoshveha, v'nomar. Amen. I'd like to invite Sherry Ann Bloom to lead us in the prayer for country and for peace, which is in the back, it's pasted in the back of our Sidurim. And we'll join together.
May God and the Word, may the God and the God of our ancestors, of this community and of the whole world, bless this community and its work. Bring the wisdom of Torah into our lives and strengthen our efforts to bring prosperity, peace, meaning, and healing into all that we do. Help us see that we are all created in your image and need to be your partner in repairing the world. Bless also the United States. May it be a great beacon of hope and freedom in the world. Guide our leaders, elected officials, and judges with your wisdom to dedicate their work to government by the people and for the people. Help us see beyond our borders to bring prosperity and peace to the world. You create order on high. Grant us peace here on earth as well. May we soon see a day when we no longer study war and destruction, but instead dedicate ourselves to building and healing. Let us hear only the cries of celebration as the world comes to be filled with your peace. And let us say, Amen.
Nicole will lead us now in Ashrei on page 181, and then we'll return the Torah to the Ark.
Ashrei yoshvei beitecha, oni halalu hasela. Ashrei ha'shekachelo, ashrei ha'asher ha'yalav, tehila leDavid. Tehillat Adonai yidaber pi, v'varech kol basar shem kadosh le'olam va'ed. V'anachnu nevarech Yah, v'natav yad olam, hallelujah.
We rise to return the Torah to the Ark. You can be seated. Let's give our attention to Nicole as she shares some personal reflections on Parshat Lech Lecha.
Shabbat Shalom. My Torah portion, Lech Lecha, is about leaving behind the familiar and going into the unknown. Avram and Sarai were asked to do this by God, and I was asked to do this by my parents. This morning, I want to reflect a little bit on journeys. Parshat Lech Lecha begins with God coming to Avram and saying, "Go forth from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation. I will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and he who curses you I will curse. And all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you." I've been thinking about how Avram might have felt when God said this. Proud, nervous, unsure what will happen. This was not something easy. He had to leave all his family except for Sarai and Lot behind, and was told to be a blessing and to start his own nation. This might have made him feel honored, as he was the one being asked to do this, but he might have also been concerned about how this will go. How will he be a leader of a nation? Would he do it right? I imagine Sarai would have some other thoughts when she and Avram left their birthplace and home to go somewhere foreign to them. She wasn't the one that God had spoken to, so she was just listening to what Avram had told her to do. She might have been unsure if it was the right decision for her, because her coming along had put both of them in danger, for example, when the two went to Egypt. Sarai is asked by Avram to pretend to be a sister because Avram fears that her beauty will get them into trouble. He thinks that he might be killed in order for someone else to marry her. So not only was Sarai leaving everything behind, but she was also being put in danger. When I was about 8 years old, my parents told me that I was going to have to move from Russia to California. But before I talk about me, I'd like to share a little bit about my parents' journeys. My dad was born in Canada and lived there until he was in his 20s, which is when he moved to Russia for his work. That is where he lived for 25 years. It is where he started his company and where he met my mom and our family was formed. Then, in 2016, we moved to California and we left our whole past behind. My mom's story is different. She spent her whole life in Russia. She never moved far away and was always near her family. This was her first big move. She left her parents, her grandparents, her brother, and everything she knew to come to a completely different place. A new continent, in fact. Everything was new people, new language, and a new environment. In preparing for my bat mitzvah, I asked her what this experience was like for her. She told me it was scary and difficult, but also interesting and exciting. This was difficult for my grandparents as well. When my parents told them, they were shocked. As I said before, my mom had always been near them, so they were really upset when they found out. It made me realize that it wasn't only hard for us, but it was also hard for the people we left behind. This made me wonder if it was the same in Avram and Sarai's case. When we moved to America, I was 8 years old and had little idea of what it meant to move. The only other time I moved was when I was too young to remember, and that wasn't far from where we were before. But this was different. I spoke English, but Russian was my first language, so coming to the US was a big challenge. I also left my friends behind and my grandparents and everything else I knew to come to this unfamiliar place. At the same time, it was exciting to learn new things and to get a new start. This is like what Avram and Sarai had to do. When God asked them to leave their home, they had to move from a land they knew well to an unknown place. They parted with their family and their land. They were on a journey that could consist of risks and confusion, but it could also lead to experiencing new things and finding a better life. As I look back and reflect on these experiences, I'm realizing that trust is very important. Having trust in those above us that have more control than we do is crucial. Sometimes taking these types of risks may not seem like a great idea. We fear they won't turn out well, but they usually do. I trusted my parents like Avram and Sarai trusted God. Both turned out to be the right decision. There are times in your life when some big changes happen, but I believe in the end, things will be okay. The Torah is reminding us that the story of the Jewish people is a story of being strangers, wanderers, newcomers in foreign lands, and knowing what it's like to be vulnerable and to trust. One of the things we might learn from this is to have compassion for the many people who are on journeys today. There are millions of people who have left their homes due to war or extreme poverty or other dangerous conditions, and who are hoping to find a new place to live and new blessings for their family. My family has found new blessings in our life in the United States, while still staying connected with our family in Russia. I wish the same for others on journeys, that they can also stay connected to from where they came from, while finding safety and new blessings in their new destinations. Shabbat Shalom.
So Nicole, you can just stay here for another minute. I imagine I speak for many in the room who just want to thank you for being willing to share a little bit of your story and your family's story with everyone. I know I've found it so powerful to get to know you and your family and this journey around the journey of your bat mitzvah, but really a bigger journey, I think, that's going on for your family. And I know that in coming to the US, part of that journey meant seeking out Jewish community and connecting with the Kolamet community. And I feel really grateful that this is a part of your story. And I feel like I can't think of a better Torah portion for you, not just because of the journey and all that you just shared, but because it's also about realizing who you are and making a decision to connect and be part of the Jewish people. And I know that Judaism has been passed down in your family throughout generations, and that this is a commitment that both of your parents wanted to make in raising you as a Jewish person and having you come to be a bat mitzvah today. And I feel like your learning is just beginning. And I know, like, not only that, but then came COVID and your date changed, and you have learned so much and worked so hard and shown just really a great openness and curiosity and desire to learn. And so I hope that today we read about Avram entering into this covenant with God, and Sarai as well, and kind of entering into a relationship and becoming realizing they were gonna become the leaders, the beginners of this people. And today you are kind of joining the Jewish people as an adult. You are the newest Jewish adult on the block. And you're really making a positive statement that you are embracing this and that you are, you want to be a part of the Jewish people and discover what that means. And I think part of the message is right there in that first aliyah that we read of being a blessing, living in relationship with other people, with the world, and figuring out how to be a source of blessing, that other people will feel blessed by knowing you, by connecting with you. And I know that your family already feels that way, near and far. And I'm so grateful that your grandmother is joining us from Russia, and others from your family in Canada and Russia are with us through the magic of technology, and just that we can all bear witness to you accepting the gift of becoming a Jewish adult and beginning this next stage of your learning and your journey. I am excited that you are choosing to be a madricha, and to keep learning and keep sharing your unique spirit and the blessings of your life with others. And I just look forward to continuing to know you and learn with you and be part of a community with you. So Mazel Tov to you and your entire family. And thank you for being you and truly being a blessing. So we're gonna proceed now with the last portion of our service, the Musaf service. Page 184, I'll invite us to rise for Chatzi Kaddish, and then I will be leading us through the beginning of the Amidah. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba be'alma divrach yirtei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon u'b'yom echad u'b'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'gala u'b'zman kariv yimeru amen yehi shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudasha brichu le'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nefemata damiran melma v'yimeru. Amen. We'll begin the Amidah out loud on page 185. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanura El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avod Umevi Goel Ivnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ufokei Tzara Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayim Etim Atarav Lahoshia Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayim Etim Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Berofech Obim Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Bal Gevurot Umidol Melech Melech Memit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua B'ne'eman ata l'chayot metim, baruch ata Adonai, l'chayei hametim. Naritzcha v'nakdishcha kesod siach sarfei kodesh hamakdishim shimcha b'kodesh kakatuv al yad neviyecha bekarazel ze ve'amar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavot, Melok kol haaretz, Kevodo, Melok kol haaretz, Kevodo. Kevodo Madei Olam Meshartav Shoalim Zeh lazeh Aye Mekom Kevodo Leumatam Baruch Yomeiru. Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo Yaidai Dai 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 Yaidai Dai 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 Yadai Dai 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 Yaidai Dai Dai Mim komo hu yifen berachamim veyachonam ham yachadim shemo erev avoker bechol yom tamid pamayim be'ahava shema omrim Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Hu Eloheinu Hu Avinu Hu Malkeinu Hu Moshienu V'hu Yashminu Barachamav Sheni Le'nei Kol Chai Li'alachem Le'Elohim Ani Adonai Eloheichem Uvdivrei Kodesh Katuv Lemor Yimloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Tzion Ledor Vador Hallelujah Ledor Vador Nagid Golacha Ulenetzach Netachim Gedushatcha Nakdish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu Le'amush Le'olam Vaed Ki HaMelech Gadol V'Kadosh Ata Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. And continue with your own personal Amidah, page 185 through 192. Page 203, Kaddish Shalem. Yikadal v'yikadash merabah, be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayeduchol Beit Yisrael b'agalav yizman kari v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmerabah mevorach le'olam lo ve'olmaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel shmei dekudesha b'richu lehela min kol berchata v'shirata tishbachata v'nechamata damiran v'elma v'yimeru. Amen. Titkabel tzlotan devotan d'chol Yisrael kadam v'handi v'shemaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shalom v'rabam min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'yimeru. Amen. Nicole and Mick will lead us in Ein Kelohenu, page 204.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Kelohenu, Mi Kadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkienu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Mekira, Avahateinu, Lecha Mecha, Etor Hatzami.
Kedula liatzer rechi shelo asanu kegoye haratzon velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chalkenu chahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu horim mishacharim u'modim Livrei melech malkei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz Hu moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al U'shchinatu zo v'gavhei meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emek malkeinu B'Torato v'yadata hayom b'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim imal ve'al haaretz mitachat enod. Laken nikaveh lecha Adonai Eloheinu. Kakatu v'toratecha Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz v'yom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad can be seated. In the coming week, we recall the yard sites of Richard Jonas Scheuer, Natella Yashayev, Hermine Mo Oswald, Leon Sloss, Vincent Sarich, Sylvia Zeitlin, Charlie Adams, Magda Wiesel, Jacob Rubin, Pearl W. Gould, Mitchell Sue Fine Cooper, Shelley Ann Imberman, Misha Imberman, that was the aunt of Misha Imberman Berkowitz, just came on a wrong line. Yukiko Sorrell, Augusta Pollock Rossler, Harry Horn, Morris Alpert, Celia Tadelis, Samuel Groover, Aaron Weintraub, Mark Radwin, Paul Kasky, Moshe Mogtatter, and Rhoda Bernstein. Invite anyone who's in mourning or observing a yard site to rise in loving memory and recite Mourner's Kaddish, which is found on page 207. Yitkadal, Yikadash, Merabah, Be'alma, Divrach, Lirute, V'yamlich, Malchute, B'chayecho, Nivyamecho, Nivchaye, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, V'yizman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabba, Mevarach, Le'olam, L'amei Almaya, Barach, V'shabach, V'pa'ar, V'tromam, V'naseh, V'tadar, V'taleh, V'talal, Shmei Dekudsha, Rifu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim alinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav u'ya'aseh shalom nu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. I want to acknowledge Ksenia's father's passing this year, and may his memory live on with your family as a blessing. And I know he would be so proud of you, Nicole. So I'd like to invite Mark Bader forward to share some words of welcome and some gifts from our board of directors, from the congregation for Nicole.
Thank you. Mazal Tov. Yasher Koach. I'm here to represent the Kolomet Board of Directors. I'm the immediate past president, and it's great. But how do you get from this to this? It's a long journey. But it starts with what we're seeing out in the courtyard today, which is, and I'm thrilled to hear that you're going to join the Madrachim program. Because when I was your age, there was no Madrachim program. There was USY, and USY is still flourishing in many parts of the country. And there's also other Jewish youth organizations, but Kolomet has something really unique. And I'm told about 50 teenagers, people, Jews like you, out there doing it and getting it done. So with that, I do want to point out that this gift bag is full of amazing things for you from this congregation. One is a Kiddush cup, and one is a membership, a teen membership to the JCC, and one is this bencher here that says USY on it, and it just reminded me of very fond memories of USY, and then seeing all these teens and seeing everybody coming together today on your special day really brought it all together. So I want to say thank you for sharing your special story about your family's journey and how eloquently you wove it together and made it sort of relevant to our four families' journey in the Torah. And for you, I say, Yasher Koach. Oh, and here's your certificate. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. Hello, Russia. If you're still awake, I don't know what time it is. And hello, everyone at home and everyone here. It's great to have you here with us on this beautiful October Shabbat morning. So I do have some things to cover before Lech Lecha to Kiddush. And One is that I'd like to thank all of our service leaders this morning, Ilya Gurin, Rick Dinitz, and Rabbi Graf. I'd like to thank our Torah readers, of course, and all of our volunteers and staff. Today's Kiddush lunch, delicious Kiddush lunch, spoiler alert, gefilte fish. You heard it here, I'm not kidding. Is courtesy of the Lewin family. And we invite you all to come and join us afterwards and share some of the meal. I will ask that you, obviously there's no slits in our masks to eat. So of course they'll be off while you're eating, but I ask that you please reapply your mask when you go in for seconds and keep your mask on when you go in for firsts. Now, this one's important. So I want to hear somebody repeat it back to me. Next week, the garage is going to be closed. Okay, great. So anybody who's here today who comes next week and says, why can't I park in the garage? You can say, we all told you. We're going to be doing some major repair work on the garage entry and exit, so it'll be a little less treacherous for people to get in and out. I'd like to say it's just going to be 1 week, but we're not really sure when it's going to be done. John Amorati.
And just to follow up on that, the security liaisons that are there to help you move around are not there to be told how awful it is to run.
There we go. Please save your complaints for an email to the office. Do not badger the poor people who are out there standing around and helping.
We do have permission to use all the trees.
Great, that's confirmed? This just in. We can park at Aldersgate, the church up the street. But just check your weekly announcements for updates about that. Again, we hope it's just gonna be a 1 week thing, but if anybody here has ever done a construction project, double and triple everything. Okay, so where's Lisa? Okay, what else was I supposed to cover? Oh, well, while you're thinking of that, Kol Nidre appeal, if you've made a pledge for the Kol Nidre appeal, please remember to honor that pledge so we can balance our books. If you haven't made your pledge yet, not too late. We keep the Kol Nidre appeal open until pretty much next Kol Nidre. Okay. Oh yeah, there's going to be an amazing homecoming event at the end of this month. It's a weekend of celebration, celebrating our new home, and it's a Shabbaton, and there's all kinds of details in The Voice. So check The Voice for that, because you won't want to miss it. You'll definitely want to be here. It's not our grand opening. That's happening in April, but it's sort of a prelude to the grand opening. And there's some really special things that are going to happen. All right, is that it? Fantastic. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Mark. To elaborate on it, the homecoming, the end of the month is actually in 2 weeks. So do look in your emails for registration. You don't have to register for the Shabbat morning service, which is going to be lovely. And we're going to be kind of reconsecrating the clergy and board and our new building. And really, we have the kind of one of the heads of the conservative movement, Rabbi Jacob Blumenthal, who's the head of both the Rabbinical Assembly of Conservative Rabbis and the United Synagogue of Conservative Judaism. He will be with us for Shabbat. He'll be speaking. We're having a Friday night service and dinner, and then he'll speak. And if you want to sign up for that dinner, that does require registration. So be looking for that in The Voice and other communications this week. And then Saturday morning, there'll be a service and lunch and also a talk after lunch. So without further ado, we are going to invite up Nicole and her classmates to lead Adon Olam on page 211. And when we do go into lunch, come on up. I believe we are continuing what we started last week, which is, I think there are 3 lines, buffet lines, and the one on the far right is especially for kids. There are a lot of kids over in the parking lot and also here. And so, for COVID purposes and whatever, we thought it might be a good idea. So adults, you might want to veer left and kids veer right. And there's also going to be seating out in the breezeway in addition to the courtyard. Adon Olam, page 211.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'Esther kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Ve'acharei Yiflot HaKol Le'ado Yimloch Nara Adon Olam Ve'hu Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'Esther kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Ve'hu Echad V'ein Sheni Leman Shilo Le'avira Adon Olam Ve'li Reshit Ve'li Tachlit Ve'lo Ha'oz Ve'lo Mizra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'Esther kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Ve'hu Eli Ve'rai Go'ali Ve'tzur Kefli Ve'tzara Adon Olam Ve'hu Nisi Umanos Li Menat Chutzi Be'omer Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'Esther kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam Ve'ado Akid Ruchi Ve'tishan Ve'ayira Adon Olam Ve'im Ruchi Geviati Adonai Li V'lo Yira Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa V'Esther kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam.
Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov.
Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov. Shabbat Shalom, Stuart. Shabbat Shalom, Lynn.
Shabbat Shalom, Eve.
Wow. About whatever.
Shabbat Shalom, Esther.
Shabbat Shalom, Judy. Hey, everybody. Hey, Esther. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey.
This one can't leave. We'll just be loud.
Well, that's pretty. Okay. Mother. All right.
Bye.
Oh, I gave. Hey, Gabe.